Hello everybody, Moarhammer here, and I've got another battle report for you. This is a 2,000 point battle, my Idoneth Deepkin, yes that's right, I've got an Idoneth Deepkin on, against Khorne Bloodbound. Really good game, really nice and bloody. However, there are a couple of things I gotta quickly mention before we go in. Firstly, my army's not painted, sorry, new army, it's not painted, but I want to get it on the table, I want to start practicing with it because I'm planning on taking this to events and such, so I want to get kind of used to using it. I'll get it done, but I'm also putting in a lot of effort, so hopefully you'll like the models you do see. And equally, my opponent's army, it's not quite complete yet from a models got perspective, so there are a few proxies. I'll go through them with you in a moment. It's fairly simple. He's got most of it there, just a few bits that aren't. Also, when we finished setting up, we were told we had an hour left to play the game before closing, so we rushed this game quite badly. We played a bit loose, played a bit fast, we forgot things, we didn't play things perfectly. It's no big deal. It's just a case of it is what it is. We were playing fast hammer, so a few things were forgotten. But if you'd like to check out the army list, check in the video description below. And we'll jump straight into the game. So here's a picture of deployment. We are playing Knife to the Heart, which is the 4-objective, really janky deployment one. So we spent about half an hour trying to figure out how the deployment worked as well, so that didn't help. But, as you can see, I am deployed. I've got my 2 ghost shipwrecks on the sort of northeast and southwest objectives. And then I've got my army in the centre. So I've got 3 Akhelian Guard, they're the defence fields, then I've got Sorceress, and I've got another 3 Akhelian Guard in front of my Eidolon of the Sea, that's the spellcaster dude, and I've got an Akhelian King behind him as well. There's also a Waywatcher Lord in front of those Akhelian Guard, you can't quite see him, but he's there. Then I've got 2 Allopex, and then in front of them I've got a Tidecaster, and then 6 Morrsarr Guard, and they're the offensive eels. And that is my army. I've also, got 2 units of 5 Canary Heartrenders in the sky. They deploy in the sky and they'll drop down and hopefully assassinate one of his key pieces. On his side, starting on the far left, he's got unit 10 Blood Warriors, then 5 Orc Brutes that are they're Wrathmongers, and then he's got a War Chanter, that is a Skullgrinder. Then moving around, we've got a unit of 5 Blood Warriors and a Bloodstoker, another unit of 5 Wrathmongers, which are Brutes. Then he's got 10 Blood Warriors, kind of in the centre of the board behind that building, a Bloodsecrator and 2 Slaughterpriests. In front of them he's got 10 Plague Bearers, which are in fact Blood Warriors. I'm going to ignore the fact they're proxies for the rest of this battle report, so... And then he's got 2 units of 10 Blood Reavers at the back. So the armies. His army was organised into the Bloodforged Battalion and the Gore Pilgrims Battalion, or most of it was at least. So he did manage to outdrop me, so he decided that he wanted me to take the first... Sorry, he decided that he wanted to take the first turn. So he does. And he comes forward like this. So he basically runs forward. It's not particularly subtle, as you might expect from a Khorne army, but he tries to drone on to basically all 3 objectives that he could. He does manage to do that without much difficulty. Blood Reavers on the top right, Blood Warriors on the bottom left, and then a unit of 5 Blood Warriors at the back. And then everything else kind of comes forward a little bit. He doesn't go too far forward because he didn't want to just get punched in the face right away. But one of the main things he does is he plants the Bloodsecrator's banner with the plus the extra distance for the Slaughterpriests and the Gore Pilgrims. So, with that being the only thing he had to do, we go into my turn. Sorry I didn't take a picture of my overall movement phase, but essentially... I move my Morrsarr Guard towards the Blood Reavers, and I push everything else kind of towards the centre. I totally fluff my magic phase. I just was rolling really badly, and because I had to re-roll any successful casting attempts, I just kept rolling them, successfully casting, having to re-roll and failing them. And I couldn't re-roll for the Eidolon because we can't re-roll the re-roll, so that was fun. But essentially, I charged fairly aggressively forward, way too aggressively if I'm honest with you. Akhelian King went to these Blood Warriors, kind of just to tie them up and start plinking them off and get rid of them. These Akhelian Guard went to the Wrathmongers. The idea here was that because I've got a lot of attacks that have a low sort of damage output, I might actually be okay at killing myself because I've got a decent save in turn 1, so I was hoping that would help. And then because I think these guys had Mystic Shield on them as well, so they were pretty tanky. And then so I should be able to kill all the Wrathmongers, and that'd be ideal. Morrsarr Guard pile into the Blood Reavers. Again, I know this is massive overkill, but I just wanted to try and get rid of them so that I could secure that half of the board pretty nicely. In the combat phase, I go with my Akhelian Guard first, and I managed to kill all 5 Wrathmongers, which is fantastic. I do hit myself back. I only take a single wound, so absolutely perfect. Over here, he attacks back with his Blood Reavers, does a wound to a Morrsarr Guard, and then gets fairly annihilated. I killed one unit of 10, and then I put another unit, the unit of 7 down to 3 left. Unfortunately, he's not going to fail a battle shock test, but he's basically done now, so that's great. And as far as the other combats go, the Akhelian King killed like a Blood Warrior and maybe took a wound back, but nothing, or maybe I think 2 wounds back, nothing severe. So we jump into the initiative roll, and I win it, which is not bad. I do decide to take it because I failed last turn to kill the Bloodsecrator. I think I killed a Slaughterpriest with my shooting, but I didn't do anything to the Slaughterpriest, the Bloodsecrator, sorry. So, I do some stuff. I move forward very aggressively with most of my stuff. After the pretty decent showing of the Akhelian Guard against the Wrathmongers, I decided to do the same with my other unit of Akhelian Guard against the other unit of Wrathmongers. So I pushed them forward. I decided to put my Sharks into the Blood Warriors, and my Eidolon kind of, again, very aggressively pushed forward. I want to try and kill that Bloodsecrator, because when I kill that, I can actually start benefiting from battle shock tests against him, and that's just... Also, he loses an attack for all this stuff, so it'll be a massive, massive deal for me to kill that. In the shooting phase, my Eidolon shoots at the Bloodsecrator, my Sharks shoot at the Bloodsecrator, and then the Waywatcher, in all his glory, shoots the Bloodsecrator off, which is fantastic. So I killed the Bloodsecrator top of 2. That's a really, really good time to do it, and I think that really puts me in a really, really good position for dealing with his army. So that's ideal. In the charge phase, my Akhelian Guard here charge into the Wrathmongers, which is ideal. Over here, my Sharks charge into the Blood Warriors, and my Eidolon gets managed to get a charge over the Blood Warriors into the Slaughterpriest. Bit risky, I feel like I got a bit... I just wanted to kill his characters, to be honest with you. But this was probably not the best move I've ever made. But like I said, we were playing fast, we were playing loose, and that's what it was. So I do attack here first with my Eidolon before I get killed, and I completely fluff all my attacks. Not a single wound gets put onto that Slaughterpriest that wasn't there already. So that was very disappointing. my Allopex then gets hit back. My Eidolon loses these Blood Warriors attack. Do a wound to my Eidolon, 2 wounds to the Allopex, and obviously kill the other one. So they did a boatload of wounds. The Gorecleaver they've got in there really did not help. I attack here with my Akhelian Guard, managed to kill 4 of the Wrathmongers and put 1 down to 2 wounds, so that was ideal to have him, that unit nearly gone. And fingers crossed, I was hoping that they might fail their battle shock test because there's no more Bloodsecrator, and that'd be ideal. Over here, I kill another Blood Warrior, and then I take a wound on my Akhelian King, no big deal, but yes, doing some damage. And then my Akhelian Guard also attack here. Again, I do think they'll do 1 or 2 more wounds, just killing a couple, 1 or 2 more Blood Warriors, so that's ideal. Unsurprisingly, over here, my Morrsarr Guard have no difficulty killing the Blood Warriors, so that was absolutely ideal. So, with that being the end of my turn, we go into his turn, and he does do some stuff. I should stop saying that, shouldn't I? Nah, it's cool, I like it. Alright, so, the final Wrathmonger that was in combat with the Akhelian Guard does flee, kind of over towards the Blood Warriors in the centre. He just wanted to give all his stuff an extra attack, basically, so he could do a bit more damage in combat. That's all he was doing. The Blood Warriors that were at the back moved forward a little bit, but most of his rest of his stuff's kind of either on objectives or trapped in combat, so he doesn't really move a whole lot else. In the hero phase, he also manages, he does Blood Boil on the Akhelian King, the Eidolon of the sea, and does 5 or 6 mortal wounds to it, so that was not good at all. I really wish I'd killed that Slaughterpriest. But hey, you can't win them all. So, the Allopex, and then he charges in with a bunch of stuff. Mainly the Blood Warriors into the Eidolon, so this guy was going to take an absolute beating, but fingers crossed I'd be okay. Oof. Over here, he attacks with his Blood Warriors, and he does a couple of wounds. He does a wound to me, and nothing major happens. Over here, my Eidolon does kill his Slaughterpriest, which is fantastic, so he managed to assassinate him, but then he gets absolutely kicked in the head. which is not fun. And then over here, my shark, I think he killed another Blood Warrior, but then he gets punched in the face, which is very sad. So he didn't perform particularly well. Over here, my Akhelian Guard managed to kill... There's one more Blood Warrior engaged in these guys, so they do kill him, but then they can't really do anything else. And that was all we had to do. So we go into the initiative roll, and he wins it. Not great. So again, sorry, I forgot to take a picture of the whole board, but essentially what happens is, thanks with the use of Blood Tithe points and the Bloodstoker, he charges this unit of 10 Blood Warriors that just finished off the Eidolon all the way across the board and smashes into my Sorceress and Waywatcher. So that was a bit fast. He also manages to charge these Blood Warriors into my Tidecaster right at the back, so he's also grabbing this objective, which was not good at all. In the combat phase, fortunately it's high tide, so I get to attack with all my single casters at the back of the board first, which is great. My Akhelian King does go first, and he murders all of Blood Warriors and then gets killed himself with the punchback. So that was not the greatest thing in the world to have happened, but it's funny. And then all the other stuff that happens, basically I lose my Sorceress, but I don't lose any other models. My Waywatcher doesn't take any wounds, and my Tidecaster does manage to survive. She ignores the first wound you take per turn, so that was ideal. So at least I've still got them hanging around. So we go into my turn. And so you know what would be really, really useful here is if I actually remembered to bring in my Canary Heartrenders, because I could put them on the objectives that I didn't control, outscore him with the number of models. It would have been great. But no, I completely forget I have them. They're sitting on the side. You can't see them on camera. They're sitting on the next board across, right there, right next to me. I could reach them. I just completely forgot I had them. Outrageous, I know, but I forgot. So if I had, I would have been very, very comfortable. But as it stands, I was not very, very comfortable. So I move my Akhelian Guard that were on the left-hand side towards the objective on the bottom left. My Morrsarr Guard comes screaming back across the board on the right-hand side to try and help the Tidecaster against the Blood Warriors. And then my Akhelian Guard that killed the Wrathmongers earlier moved to the top objective to try and kill the 5 Blood Warriors that were there. Because if I can get rid of them, I can score that objective as well. In the shooting phase, my Waywatcher Lord does shoot off that Wrathmonger that's still kind of sitting there doing nothing. Just because I was like, I'm not going to do much shooting at the Blood Warriors. I might kill 1 or 2, but it's not really going to change how this is going to go. Whereas the Wrathmonger could end up being a massive pain in the arse, because they tend to be a massive pain in the arse. So I didn't do anything about that. In the charge phase, my Akhelian Guard here got into the Blood Warriors, and my Morrsarr Guard here got into the Blood Warriors here. Over here, I kind of fluff my attacks. Fortunately, I'm still in high tide, so I can just do all the attacks I want. I kill a Blood Warrior, but I don't. That's all I do. Nothing else happens. My Waywatcher here kills a Blood Warrior and does a wound to another, and I take a wound back for my trouble, I think. And my Morrsarr Guard completely obliterate the unit of Blood Warriors on the other side, which was absolutely outstanding. Big fan of that. So we go in. So that's the end of the combat. We go into the initiative roll, and I win it. And then we decided to call the game there. We ran out of time, but we basically said, okay, before we rolled the initiative, we said if I won it, I would win, because I can easily what I would have. So this is the final shot of the game. What I would do is Tidecaster Steed of Tides, my Tidecaster onto the top right objective. My Morrsarr Guard would then charge into the Blood Warriors and wipe them out, and my Waywatcher Lord would retreat from combat onto the bottom right objective. And so I'd hold all 3, maybe 4 if my Akhelian Guard can kill the rest of the Blood Warriors. But ultimately, I would have the 3 objectives that I would then hold for the rest of the game. It was this point after we sort of decided what would happen with the game, that I remembered about my Heartrenders and said, oh, I could also have brought these guys on. So so we kind of called that and as a victory to the Deepkin, which was generous because I didn't deserve it. It was a really, really hard fought game. It was really, really good. There was lots of really, really clutch dice rolls, really difficult decisions to make, and it was going so fast. It was just a really, really fun game. So I did really enjoy it. The Deepkin were great. Definitely didn't use them as they're supposed to be used, or as I should have used them. I was way too aggressive, but I kind of got put off by the fact that Khorne is so fast. I just needed to get rid of that Bloodsecrator way faster, and then Battle Shock will help me out massively. But it was not to be, because I couldn't get any of my debuffs off. I did manage to get like -1 to hit on a unit of Blood Warriors once or twice, but I forgot he had it, so he didn't. it was my fault as much as it was my fault. So we were playing so fast, we just kept forgetting things. So it was tricky. So didn't really use the army as it was supposed to be used, but somehow managed to pull out a win by scoring objectives. So that was fantastic. So there you have it. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed the Idoneth Deepkin, you can go check out my painting progress on Twitter at Moarhammer, or on Instagram at Moarhammer88. So go and check those two out as well. And if you like my video, please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of it. And yeah, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, because that helps me out, I think. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for another battle report.